Hello and welcome to another edition of the Weighing Room, where we bring you episode 37 of the podcast, where myself, Frankie Foster, and Paul Callaghan will be going through 8 live races across Saturday, including the key ones that we broadcast live on ITV Racing. Frankie, start with you this week. How are we? How's the week been?
All good, yeah. Pretty steady week. I was down at Archie Watson's yard yesterday now, so it's Thursday for when this comes out. And I'm off to Chester tomorrow, so a nice weekend. It'll be a hot one, but I'm told they've relaxed dress codes and it's a bit more chilled, so I'll be sunning myself at Chester.
Yeah, well, lovely. Well, weather has been a big topic, hasn't it, over the last few days, and it's supposed to be a really hot one at Chester. I'm sure that'll be a good day. Paul, how are yourself? How's everything over in Ireland?
Yeah, all's good. I don't think we're not as warm over here at the minute now. We're still in the low 20s, but I think Sunday, Monday is supposed to get up to about the 26, 28 degree mark. So off Sunday. So looking forward to that. But looking forward to the Curragh as well. Got a couple of great.
Well, as you say, the Curragh, that's a big meeting of the weekend on Saturday, and there was some racing there on Sunday. And today we will be going through the racing from there with Curragh in the Irish Oaks and the Group 2 there. And as we record now, luckily we've recorded on Friday this week, and just as we're about to go live, Emily Upjohn has just been taken out of the race due to travel complications. So we'll be looking elsewhere with that, and we'll talk about that a bit later on in the pod when we cover the race. We're also going to go to Newbury with the Group 3 Hackwood Stakes, taking centre stage over there. And also got some jumps racing from the Highclere Rasen with the Grade 3 Summer Plate Handicap Chase going to be discussed between the three of us. So we'll get straight into it, lads. And the first race we're going to cover ahead of the weekend is the 150 listed Stephenton Stakes, or now the Bet365 Stakes, over 1 mile 2 furlongs from Newbury. Paul, we'll start with you. Who's your fancy in this one?
I've gone with Grocer Jack. I think is an intriguing runner here. Was 4th in a Group 2 at Sean T at the beginning of June. His last win came at Hoppergarten when trained by Waldemar Hickst, and that was in Group 3 company. And as I mentioned, I just think he is an intriguing runner here and representing a top team. So I'm a Grocer Jack in the 150.
Yeah, I'm joining you in the opener, actually, because even though it's a 5-run affair, and look, before this, missed the cut for George Bowie, was backed in from 3-1 to like 5-6, 4-5 favourites, and actually not running now after the declaration stage. But I looked at Cadillac at the top of the market and I thought 13-8, was 5-4, drifted slightly. And I was intrigued, like you said, with Grocer Jack, and he's just only having his 3rd run for Haggis, being raced internationally. And he's got some lovely Group 2 form over in France and obviously running well in Italy. I just thought this horse was really interesting, and I'm happy to take on the favourite Cadillac with Grocer Jack as well. Frankie, who are you going for in this one?
I think the winner will come out of the top 2, but I'm going to go with the favourite. You're looking at that, as you said, that 5th, 6th, 7th kind of midfield group form with Grocer Jack, or some placed listed form with Cadillac. I'm always happy to mark up Ascot form a little bit at the Royal Meeting. A listed race is a very competitive listed race, and I think Cadillac did run a good race behind Dubai Future, who, although won at 20-1, seemed an impressive winner, and Cadillac was a decent enough second for me. So I'm going to stick with that Royal Ascot form and stay with the favourite. But I do agree in that I'd say the winner will likely come out of the top 2.
Yeah, another thing that swayed me the way of Grocer Jack was, if you look at Haggis's form, I know he's been on top form all season, but him and Mark Wand can't do nothing wrong, can they? Especially over the last 2 weeks. We keep saying this on this podcast, don't we? Every week, Haggis has done this, Mark Wand's done this, and they haven't let up. And if there's a trainer who's going to get one right with a horse that's newly come in this year, I think Haggis would be at the top of the list. So, yeah, Grocer Jack for me and Paul, and Cadillac for Frankie in that one. So we're going to go over to Curragh. We're going to cover the first race from there, and it's the 203 Group 3 Anglesey Stakes over 6 furlongs. Looks like quite a nice race, Frankie, doesn't it, this year? Little Big Bear tops the market. Are you with him or against him?
I am, yeah. I think keep this one straightforward. Don't try and be clever. Little Big Bear was a strong fav, and I think all of us were in agreement that it was a good enough bet at Ascot, and then he went and won that race nicely. I can't see any reason to really oppose him here. I think he's a smart horse, and I think we mentioned before Ascot that he was entered into the Windsor Castle Stakes, but could have been entered maybe into one of the group races. Aidan just had enough good 2-year-olds to split. So yeah, I'm with the favourite. 5-6 seems fair, and to be honest, I wouldn't really look elsewhere.
Yeah, as I'm looking now, William Hill are offering even money, and I think that's an absolutely great bet. I do. I think a Little Big Bear could be one of the bets of the day around that price. So I can only see it getting shorter. This horse hasn't got much to prove at all compared to the others. I think they've all got something to prove, only racing a few times and winning lesser races. Like you say, when you go to a Royal Ascot, you win that listed race, and it was one of few that came out the pack that day. And obviously since then, the second has come out and won a nice listed event as well. The form stacks up for me, and I just think it's going to take something a bit freakish to beat this horse. I think it's a bit of a good thing personally. Paul, yourself?
Yeah, I've gone with Little Big Bear. I think is the one they all have to beat. The winner of the Windsor Castle, when last seen at a bit of a price, maybe Vosted Del Palio, Joseph O'Brien's runner, maybe to follow the favourite home, or certainly outrun his odds. Sloan Awallian, I was interested, made a winning race course debut, but you'd imagine Sloan Awallian would have to step up. You know, it'll be as fast as Sloan Awallian's gone, I think, in his life here. So at a bit of a price, maybe with that racing experience, I'd go with Declan McDonough's mount, but Little Big Bear, as the price reflects, is the one they all have to beat.
Yeah, it's nice to see us all unanimous for Little Bit Bear in that one. So we're going to go back over to Newbury. We're going to go back over to Newbury in their second race on ITV on Saturday. It's a tricky handicap. It's the Highclere Castlegin Cup Stakes over the marathon trip. Paul, from a punting perspective, they're quite tightly knitted at the top of the market, aren't they? A couple of them. We're Going Gone 7-2, Rock Eagle around 9-2, Rasen 5-1, Diamond Bay 11-2. Who are you with?
I have gone. We spoke about temperatures. Temperatures might just play a hand here. Like I looked at Rasen, was a good second last time out. Course and distance winner, Ian Williams-Strange, Jim Crowley on board. But a horse I've gone with is the Andrew Balding trained Auriferous. Haley Turner on board. Auriferous was fifth in the Northumberland Plate when last seen. Was second in a similar event over course and distance in April off a handicap mark of 82. Lines up here, and I think has to be competitive once again off 84. And as I mentioned, has a handy weight of 8 stone 5 in what's going to be, I'd imagine, sweltering conditions come Saturday afternoon. So it's Auriferous for me.
Yeah, it's a nice angle in. You don't normally think about these things racing in England with temperatures soaring to close to 30 degrees, but you've got to think about stuff like this, haven't you, this weekend as well, moving into Monday, Tuesday as well. With horses near the bottom of the weights, they might just pay off carrying that bit less, especially over this, 2 mile and a half furlong. So yeah, Auriferous around 7-1 in the market is your angle into that race. Frankie, for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to get the favourite beat. Whenever we start looking through the cards and aside with the first couple of fabs, you think, God, I need to find a price somewhere. But I was nearly tempted in with Hold, who had, if you look back to Goodwood, ran second to Call in the Wind, giving away just over a stone, who Rasen only beat by, I think, a short head off level weights. But as Paul mentioned, with Hold's got to carry 9-12, so the opposite end of the spectrum. I don't think I could have him on a hot summer's day, which we've got Saturday. So I'm going to stick with the favourite. I watched back. You've got the top three in there: Going Gone, Rock Eagle, Rasen, all run against each other at Ascot. I watched that race back a couple of times. I couldn't really reverse the placings. I think Going Gone ran a true race. Hasn't really been affected in the handicap as a result of it. It was his first time stepping up in trip, so you could maybe argue that he might be a little bit better once again. So yeah, off the back of that Ascot run, I'm going to stick with the favourite, Going Gone.
Yeah, look, that's the race you've got to look at, I think, if you're going to go with those sort of horses. And obviously Going Gone, you can see why he's at the top of the market for that fourth in the Ascot Stakes. But I've gone for Rock Eagle, and I'm going to try and get the favourite beat, around 9-2, Rock Eagle. And I've took the opinion of, if you watch that race back in the Ascot Stakes, Rock Eagle got to the front, had an absolute massive chance and blew up with probably 2 or 3 furlongs to go. I think if you're coming back 4 furlongs in trip, you wait a bit longer for the horse to get to the front. I think he's got an excellent chance in this. He's down a pound in the handicap. The conditions is absolutely no problem. That's the opinion I took on the race. I just saw he got to the front a bit too soon and blew up. And
he did travel well, didn't he? Travelled really, really well when they were swinging around the bend.
Yeah, this is what I mean. It's tough because you can pick angles, like you say, for different horses in that Ascot Stakes, or even away from it, like the lower weight. Rock Eagle, he's carrying 9 so far. He's doing an absolutely superb yardstick for Rafe Beckett. And Rafe Beckett and Rob Horman at the moment can't stop putting in the winners. 22% strike rate for Rafe Beckett, 24% for Rob Hornby over the last 2 weeks. They're in flying form. If they ride this horse and just slightly different and over the lesser trip, I think Rock Eagle's got a big chance for me in this one. But we'll have to see. It's a tricky one. I think it's one of the trickiest today because you can have a lot of different angles into the race. So we're going to stay at Newbury for our next race we're going to cover. And it is their feature, Bet365 Group 3 Hackwood Stakes, over 6 furlongs. And it sees an absolutely fascinating contest for me in this one. We've got Happy Romance at the top of the market, 92 into 4-1, Rohan 5-1, Minzal 6-1, Man of Promise 13-2, Diligent Harry 9-1, and then you've got the rest, 11, 12-1 bar. Frankie, we'll go with you first on this one. Where do you start with this? Because some superb sprinters all going up against each other, aren't there?
There is. It's kind of all the horses that haven't quite done it at top level, isn't it? It's just below the best, and they're all been mixing in various group races, and it is really hard to find a winner of this. It's an exciting race for sure. I'm going to go with a horse that did win last time out, Rohan, albeit not a group race, although was carrying, I think, 9-12 that day and won really, really well at Ascot. And I think what I liked about, the favourite's definitely worth a mention as well, Happy Romance, because that horse has beat Rohan on the last couple of occasions. So I couldn't really mention Rohan without saying the Phelps in with a good chance. But at the prices, I'd have Rohan. I'd just like, if you look back through his career, he usually hits form around this time of year. Last year, they followed up a win at Ascot by going to the July Cup, which didn't work out. They've missed that this year. Coming to a slightly lesser race, in my opinion. Well, it is. It's a group 3 rather than a group 1. And I think, Rohan could maybe follow up and go in again.
Yeah, what a superb horse Rohan's been over the years for David Evans. Coming from, I think, if you look at his lowly mark running in handicaps off 55, 61, up to 73, up to the 90s, now in the hundreds, and now top mark of 115, 116 in his career. Winning Group 2s, winning back-to-back Wokingham's, like an absolutely unbelievable horse. And why couldn't he go and win this Group 3? Why couldn't he? Paul, I think you're of a similar opinion, aren't you?
Yeah, I've gone with Rohan. Just that the price is probably, with the each way betting, is there might be an extra place or two if you're shopping about. But Great Ambassador found life a little tough in Group 1 company when last seen. He was second in the Air Gold Cup off a mark of 106, so he might just get in the mix at a price of 107. But I've gone with Rohan, winner of the Wokingham last time out, might just get a bit of confidence on the back of that win. When horses just when they taste success, it just might run up a sequence maybe. And also from the angle that there's a bit of a connection between the Doyle family and David Evans in that Holly's father, Mark, and she would have done a lot of work for David and whatnot. So there's that connection there. Bit of a character himself, Mark. He rode over jumps, I think. I actually rode for Holly's father. He used to train and ride out with for Henry Daly back in the day. So there's that connection there. Holly's been booked for Rohan earlier on in the week. And I think Rohan has every chance of following up here.
Yeah, listen, Rohan, I respect this horse so much, what he's done over the last few years. The only thing I worry about on Saturday is that maybe the Wokingham was a bit of like his race for the season, his cup final. We're going to put everything into him to go and win that. And to turn him around fairly quickly to go and run in this race against some nice sprinters. And I know it's very tough to do it. And he's a Group 2 horse. Maybe not a Group 1 horse, but definitely a Group 2, Group 3 horse. I just worry that might have just been the race that everything was targeted towards. And that's why I've gone with Happy Romance. Look, Happy Romance, when I was looking through, it was 9-2, 5-1, now into 4-1. If I could get 9-2, 5-1, if it's slightly drifted, I'll be really happy to play that each way. But I still think Happy Romance will be very, very tough to be out the top 3. And like you say, if you get extra places, top 4. Extremely smart filly over the years for Richard Hannon. Won this event last year and has been seen running well in the Group 1 Alcos Sprint at Maidan, won second to A Case of You. Seen for the first time since then, went over to Ascot in the Platinum Jubilee Stakes. Didn't run a bad race at all. Went on to finish 7th. Was tightly knitted, that pack. And then finished 8th last time out in the July Cup. like you said, Frankie, some of these horses just aren't quite good enough at that top level. But coming back into a Group 3 that she's won, a track she's got a great, great course and distance memories of winning this race and going well before that. I'd just be very surprised she's out the top 3 or 4. So if you could try and get 9 to 2, 5 to 1 and play her each way, I think she could be very difficult to beat. So yeah, happy romance for me in that one. So another nice race we're going to cover, we're going to go back over to the Curragh, is the Group 2 Barberstown Castle Sapphire Stakes over 5 furlongs. And Colin Keane has landed the last 2 renewals of this race. Can he do it again with Munista, Paul?
I hope not. I think, yeah, Muniesta's got a good chance. Been pretty consistent now. I think without getting his head in front, but I've actually gone with the Fuzzy Stack Train Castle Star, who finished second in a Group 1 behind Perfect Power at Newmarket when last seen. That was back in September. Was second behind Go Bears Go in the Railway Stakes last season. He's a winner of a listed event over course and distance. The Yard have been among the winners at Killarney during the week, and I think if fit enough, Castle Star has to play a hand here.
Yeah, Castle Star was a bit of a talking horse last year, obviously running some really, really nice races. Now stepping up against some of the older horses, it'd be nice to see whether he can go on and progress. Frankie, for yourself?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? You've got the top 2 going against each other at Ascot again. Castle Star, as Paul said, second behind Perfect Power, hasn't been seen since. That is a very interesting runner. I'm going to go one further down the market. The Joseph O'Brien trained Broster, who won well at Naas. And I thought, although this horse had some a decent amount of racing by the time it was going at Naas, when it won that day, I still thought you could have watched that and thought there's a little bit more to come from the horse. And it did then go and win a group race over in France, a Group 2 over in France. And I wonder, it's just another kind of well-placed horse by Joseph O'Brien here. Hasn't been seen at the likes of Ascot and at the big meets in Ireland or England. It's won over in France and could come back here with maybe a bit more than you might expect.
Yeah, it is a tricky race, isn't it? This only the 9 runners go to post, but you even look at further down the line. You look at Cadamosto, we're an absolute cracker in the Commonwealth Cup, coming out the pack and just finding 2 or 3 ahead of him too good. And he's currently 15 to 2. He can get back to that form. Obviously, Equilateral in that race at Sandown last time out, got absolutely cut up, got no race at all, and I really fancy him for that race. But I have jumped off Equilateral for this one, and I have gone with Munista. And I know, Paul, you give her a big shout, actually. I think it was for the King's Stands, and she ran a cracking race there to finish 4th. And I just think that form's absolutely electric. Nature Strip was brilliant that day. Twilight Calls, a lovely horse that ran on. And obviously, Acklam Express, even at 200 to 1, has run in some brilliant sprint races and placed. So I think Munista has got a huge chance. The Colin Keane factor, winning the last 2 races. He knows how to win this race. He obviously won it with Munista last season. And I just think the Munista's course form overall, over 6 and 5 at the track, is the best on offer. Look, 5 to 2 favourite currently. I'd be liking maybe a slightly bigger price if it was 3s. Maybe a bit bigger than that, 10 to 3. I'd definitely have a go at that. But Munista, anyway, I think has got a really good chance. I just want to see her get back to that winning form. She's been in some tough races, and I think this is the race that she can get back to winning ways. So yeah, Munista.
She's been running well, hasn't she? Since that course and distance win last year, winning this race, she's been running well without getting her head in front since, hasn't she? She's been pretty consistent. Hats off to herself and the trainer.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, well, the 4-year-old filly now, you think, she might be, you're only going to get better with time, and she has. She has completely got better with time. Like at Cork in a decent listed event, second behind Power Under Me. That's not a bad horse at all. You then go to Naas, finished the Romantic Proposal, won that race. Brilliant horse for Edward Lynham. And then the second at the Curragh behind Brad the Brief in that Group 2 Greenland Stakes. Another absolutely cracking performance. Like there's not much I can knock on a form at all.
No, it's not. It's solid.
And obviously that King Stands form in a Group 1 to drop back into a Group 2. I just thought, look, she's the favourite for a reason. I just thought it was quite obvious that she was going to run a big race. But I just hope, because you see her with the 2s and 3s in the form, I just hope she can get ahead in front this time, because it has been a superb training performance from Jack Davison, hasn't it, really? So with the next race we're going to go over to, we're going to go to the jumps, lads. I think it's going to be the first one for a long, long time. We're going to go back over to the jumps. And even though there's 3 races on ITV from Market Racing, the only one we're going to cover is the big one of the day. It's the Grade 3 Summer Plate Handicap Chase at 14 minutes past 3. It looks a really tricky event to start us off really with the jumps, doesn't it, Frankie?
Oh, it's impossible. Hence why I'm going in with two-pronged attack, and both of them are actually Emma Lavelle trained. So that would be my bet, is Emma Lavelle will win this race with one of them. Man of the Mountain, bit of a sliding mark. The mark's kind of been dropping down, but a good second last time to Demachine over 2.5. And, you know, this does happen. A horse will kind of drop down the weights, and if you time it right in the right race, then they can go and win. And I think this horse is the key for me, has been running in better races than this, so potentially can take advantage of a lower weight in a lesser race. But the other one would probably be my selection, maybe, although the market's suggesting otherwise. Man of the Mountain's shortening and Light Strike is on the drift. But this horse went really well last time out. It's progressing nicely. If you look through its form as the season's gone on, or the years have gone on, it's just slowly kind of climbing. The ratings has gone up, I think, £7 for last time, but Jack Wildman takes 7 off, so you can cancel that out straight away, and I think could follow up here off of 139 with a claimer on board.
Yeah, so I've got a very similar opinion to this race as yourself, from a perspective of, I also like Man of the Mountain, but that wouldn't be my first pick in the race, and there's a horse at a bigger price that would be probably my better shout. But yeah, for the reasons you've said, Man of the Mountain, I just think he's got the best back form in the race, from running in Grade 2s, running against better horses, going up to a marker 144, running around Cheltenham, like finished second behind Paint the Dream. He went on to win a Greatwood Gold Cup. His back form's absolutely brilliant. Obviously went on to win. When was it? Last year. It was 2 seasons ago, but it was last year, still in April. Won this Grade 2 silver trophy at Cheltenham off a marker 138. Man of the Mountain runs off that same mark in this one. A nice second last time out, as you say, at Utoxeter. I think 15 to 2 is a great price, carrying slightly bigger weight than some in the field. But I think, 15 to 2, 8 to 1, I think it's cracking each way bet, Man of the Mountain, if he goes on to run his race. But the horse that I like at a bigger price, around 11, 12 to 1 in the market, is Marla's Promise for Seamus Mullins. And he's a bigger price, around 11 to 1 at the moment. You might be able to get 12s with some bookmakers. But this horse absolutely loves it around Market Racing. Absolutely loves it. He knows exactly what he's doing when he gets to this track. And I just think, even off his marker 127, he's got more under the bonnet. Extremely consistent horse over the last year or so, putting up some really good placed efforts in Class 2 and Class 3 events. Last time over course and distance, put one of his best performances up for a while when winning the Summer Plate Trial by 2 lengths. That was off a mark of 122, up £5 to 127. I still think the handicap hasn't got him yet, and I think he's got his ideal conditions. He loves the track. I haven't got many negatives to this horse, and I just hope he runs his race. And I think at 11 to 1, he's cracking each way value. So Marla's Promise would be my main bet in that one. But I do think Man of the Mountain has got a big chance as well. Paul?
I've gone with Peter Bowen's horse, Frankie de Burle. Peter Bowen has a cracking record in this race. Frankie de Burle won this race off a handicap mark of 137 last year. Was last seen finishing 3rd of 16 over 3 miles and 2 at Utoxeter back on the 26th of June. I think he has to have every chance of being in the mix once again, and the price reflects that off a handicap mark of 139. So it's Frankie de Burle for me. Okay,
yeah. As you say, Peter Bowen's got an absolutely cracking record in that race. And look, it's a tricky one, but I think it's a fascinating affair for definitely the horses that love the summer ground, and hopefully it won't be too hot for them, because obviously it is a tricky race that's to play to get round, especially with the heat how it is. So we're going to go back onto the flats, and another tough punting event at the weekend, and this one is on ITV as well. It's the 5 furlong Weatherby Super Sprint Stakes. Paul, it's over 20 runners in this field. Go and find the winner.
I'm with Union Court, Ed Walker, David Probert. His chance had gone when missing the break in the Windsor Castle at Royal Ascot, when last seen was twice a winner at Chepstow and Leicester on his first couple of starts, and I think should find life easier here. If she gets away on terms, I think Union Court has to be in the mix.
Yeah, Union Court, just looking down at the prices. What price we got for Union Court there?
12s maybe?
Yeah, 12-1. Yeah, 12-1 Fred Walker, David Probert on board. Yeah, 12-1 currently in the market. Frankie, for yourself?
Eddie's boy, Archie Watson, trained. I said at the top of the show, I went down there on Thursday. I did not see the horse or ask about it, so I don't think that I've come in here with some good info. That yeah, but I just fancy this horse off of the form behind Little Big Bear, who we just mentioned, third at Ascot in the Windsor Stakes, and then third at Sandown when very unlucky. If you watch that, the race, it was complete game over. Got squeezed for room on the rail. And the race was done when Rocket Rodney went and won. But I think was with every chance before that. Your question might be, just to follow that up quickly, has to turn around. I mean, it's been racing in decent races on the trot through June and July, and has to come here in good health and fitness. But I do like the form of the last two races, and I think Eddie's boy with a better run could go close.
Yeah, he's got some cracking form behind him, and 13-2 in the market, definitely with a shout. So, like the Summer Plate, I've played 2 in this. There's over 20 runners. It's so hard. I have got one at a shorter price and one at a bigger price. So the one at the shorter price that I do like is Rogue Spirit for Tom Clover. I love this operation. I love all the Rogue horses. I think they've had a brilliant season so far. And I think this could be the cherry on top to go and win this one with Rogue Spirit. Been 3 times today and running strongly on every occasion. Made his debut in May, over 5 furlongs at Beverley. Got off the mark in what was a decent 13-runner event. He then, the second, went on to frank that form also, so making the form quite respectful. Was then sent into the 2-year-old Trophy Conditions stake over the same course and distance. Ran another cracker to only finish the next second behind Chateau, who obviously got some nice form. I think finished 4th at Royal Ascot in one of the handicaps. So got some nice form then. Got back to winning ways last time out of Wolves by 3 lengths on the all-weather. Quite taking how he won that day. He's been given a mark of 91 for this. I just thought he could run another bold race. 8 stone 9, drawn in stall 18. If you look at the last 5, 6 horses that have gone on to win this race, they've been drawn fairly high. So that's perfect for this horse. And yeah, Rogue Spirit would be my go-to in this one. Just on a side note, and maybe want to play each way, maybe not from a draw perspective, but Swift Asset for Richard Hannon. Swift Asset is drawn in 1, so he's got to come across and run a massive race. But what I like about this Swift Asset is it was 25-1 at anti-post stage in the week. It's been absolutely smashed into 8-1, 7-1. Richard Hannon's record in this race is absolutely brilliant. Between him and his father, they've won 10 renewals, and then Hannon's won 3 of the last 4. So he obviously targets this race. Yes, he does chuck a few. I think he's got 3 or 4 in the field here. But I think his best one to me does seem to be Swift Asset from the money that's coming. I just want to look out for, and I'm just following the money slightly with this one. I don't like the draw, but I do like the horse. His last race at Windsor, he was quite taken how he pulled away and won quite nicely. He doesn't lack any speed whatsoever. And I think Swift Asset is just want to keep on side and want to watch in this race, just from those angles. So the big race, the final race of the afternoon, we're going to cover, and the final race on ITV on Saturday is the Irish Oaks, the Group 1 Irish Oaks, the Irish Classic race. And obviously, as we're recording now, Emily Upjohn, like we mentioned at the top of the show, was the 2-5, 4-7 favourite. Frankie Dettori set to ride, Jonathan Thursday Gosden. Obviously not coming across now to Ireland due to travel complication. We don't know too much at this stage what's actually the problem there. But we now have a bit of a different market than we did originally before, while we were probably looking at this race. So now, at the top of the market, we have Magical Lagoon at 6-5. We have Ked Go Dio at 11-2. That was actually 18-1 before we actually started this show. Emily Dickinson 6-1, History 6-1, Toy 13-2, Fenella 16-1, and Show of Stars 18-1. Frankie, we'll start with yourself. Obviously, a big shock with that favourite coming out, and Emily Upjohn probably would have gone on and win this race for me personally. But who do you like now?
Yeah, I've just got to stick with that Magical Lagoon, although 65, 5-4 is very short, isn't it? I would have played the forecast. Emily Upjohn 1 and Magical Lagoon 2. I was a fan of this horse for Ascot. I just, has been, before Ascot, was behind all of the best fillies and mares in Spiral, Prosperous Voyage, Cachet, Concert Hall, Care de Guerre, or Go Dale, you mentioned, was behind Magical Lagoon and has won 2 listed races since. That would be the danger for me. You don't know how much that horse has improved and hasn't had to beat or go against as tricky opposition. But Magical Lagoon went and won at Ascot and was impressive there. An extra furlong, I think, this weekend will be no harm as she battled back to win that day at Ascot. So I'm going to stick with Magical Lagoon, albeit pretty short now.
Yeah, definitely the one to beat. And look, it's probably not the greatest renewal of the race anymore, is it? With only 7 runners going to post and the big one coming out. But Paul, for yourself, who do you fancy now?
Well, I napped up Magical Lagoon on seasonal reappearance, was second, ran an absolute cracker at Navan, was second at 10-1. I was with Magical Lagoon at Royal Ascot, and I'm jumping ship.
Don't do it.
Yeah, just looking at this now, I'm kind of shaking my head here. Even in the each-way market, I thought was short enough. If you are having a bet here, at the time Emily Upjohn was in the race, and I thought at a price, Curragh Joe, which means it's Irish for friends forever. I thought Curragh Joe.
That's why you say it a bit better than us.
Yeah.
Curragh Joe was one or last 2, and I think a bit of confidence here. We're down to 2 places now. If you are having an each-way bet, arguably at 6-1. With down to the 2 places, mightn't just be as much value as Curragh Joe was when Emily Upjohn was in the field. But been hearing some favourable mentions for Emily Dickinson also in the last 24 hours. But I've sided with Curragh Joe. But as Frankie said, Magical Lagoon, short enough at the prices if you're getting involved here.
Yeah, I was of the same opinion as you, Paul. Like Curragh Joe, I can say it now. You've said it properly. But this horse just, since been going up in trip to the 12 furlong, she's progressed, and the way she won, I think it was 2 starts ago, and the last start, beating Boundless Ocean. Boundless Ocean's come out this week and won. Navan 13 furlongs, winning by 8 lengths in that listed Yeat Stakes. I just think progression has been key to this horse, and I thought when she looked in the market when Emily Upjohn was in there, around 20-1, 18-1, I thought, look, I don't think she'll beat Emily Upjohn. I don't think she'll probably even beat Magical Lagoon. But with the 3 places on offer, I thought she might have sneaked third and been some nice places. So it's very difficult now. I think with 2 places, I'd still like to think she's 11-2 now. She's not much of the same price, but I still think she could run a big race, and I'll still be sticking with her. But look, the races really fell apart with the favourite coming out, and now there's only 2 places on offer, and it's probably more of a watch Irish Oaks for me than in previous years when there's been some standout horses running, because there has been some brilliant winners of this race in the past. But still Magical Lagoon's a worthy favourite. Like you said, Emily Dickinson didn't run too long ago, currently is 6-1. History obviously didn't run that far behind Magical Lagoon at Ascot, and could probably reverse the form. And Toy before that, if you look at the market, Toy was in at 66-1. The jockey got announced it was Ryan Moore and was straight into 20-1. So that's another interesting angle, and that's 13-2 now. But look, it's one of them where if you would take away the race and look to the horses in it, you'd say it's a Group 2, Group 3. But it's the Group 1 Irish Oaks, and there will be a classic winner out of these 7 horses by the end of Saturday. So that's it, lads, for this week's race, for this week's races and this week's pod. We've covered all 8 we were going through on Saturday, which means it's time for this week's nap on the Saturday. Paul, think you've got the honour this week?
Yeah, I'll go with Auriferous. I think will outrun its odds in the 221 at Newbury on Saturday. There's no prices up at the minute for the 525 at the Curragh on Saturday. There's a horse I'm looking forward to, is Benetois. Was a beaten favourite on racecourse debut and finishing 2nd over 7 furlongs at the Curragh last August, and cost 180,000 guineas as a yearling, and was obviously pleasing connections prior to that debut effort. And I think if not over racing, if not running a little gassy in the early stages, I think Benetois can take the beating in the 525 at the Curragh. No prices out at the minute. I'm expecting Benetois to be short enough. So at a bit more of a worker man's price, I'm with Auriferous.
Yeah, I did. I tell you what, your second one, I did look in the last of the Curragh. I did look at that. Forecast 11-4. I don't know what is actually going to come out. I think it could be shorter than that personally, but yeah, definitely got a big chance. And I'll just put in, Paul will be putting up his Irish angle on the Winners Enclosure website after we finish this, and be live on Friday evening for everyone to have a look. You'll have three picks, won't you, from the Irish racing this weekend? So
hopefully,
we'll see how we get on. Frankie, your nap for the weekend?
Well, Little Big Bear's a bit of a freebie. We all agreed that we think that's going to win. So, although that would be the nap to give another Eddie's Boy, although a very competitive race, I do like the form. I mean, there you go, behind Little Big Bear. And as I said, it was game over at Sandown when being squeezed on the rails. The question mark is only last race on the 1st of July, so I've got to follow up quickly. But I'm kind of watching that back and thinking Holly Doyle realised the race was done and didn't push the horse harder than it needed to in the finishing stages, so might get away with it. So Eddie's Boy each way.
Yeah, I'm the same as you. I think Little Big Bear goes on and wins, and I think if you could snap up that even money, I would snap it up right now before it gets into 5 to 6 or even worse a price than that. But I'll go for an each way one, and I'll stick with Marla's Promise in that Grade 3 summer plate. It's around 11, 12 to 1. Each way nap for this week. I think Marla's Promise got everything going for him and just loves it round market racing. So that would be mine for this week. Gents, been a pleasure as always. Thanks for all the picks. Hopefully we found some winners as usual. We haven't been doing bad the past 3 weeks. Some nice price winners from one of us or 2 of us or 3 of us sometimes. Please remember to comment your selections below for this weekend. Like this video and subscribe to the channel. With plenty more coming over the next few weeks. And lads, all the best this weekend.